Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 103 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 103 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I'm so glad that you could be with us this week. If you're one of the crew and you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep, and I'm so grateful that you just continue to support me, so thank you for coming back. Before we get started with this week's episode, I always like to set the foundation. I want to make sure that you guys know that this is a safe space that we're creating. And in this safe space, we are always going to do everything based on two really key, important tenets. And that is always going to be clarity and love. Clarity is pretty straightforward. I just really want to make sure you know why you're here. The Well Done Life podcast is a podcast that I created for women. I believe that women are the foundation of society, and I really feel like we need spaces where we can be our most authentic selves, where we can learn and grow from each other. So that is why I produce this content. I'm hopeful that by some time sharing my journey and the journey of other women, that you can be inspired, that you can see that there is so much that you are capable of, that there is so much that you can learn from other women, so that we can just continue to elevate and grow together. So that's really what clarity is about. Love is pretty straightforward as well. I mean, I love love. And everything that we're going to do in this space is going to be rooted in love. So one of the things that I like to make sure that I do when I set the prayer and set the intention for the podcast is I want to make sure that I send prayers to you, because I want you to know that you're loved and you are thought of and prayed for every day. So I want to send you prayers this week of peace. I want to send you prayers of good health, mental and physical. I want to send you prayers of strength. I want to send you prayers of clarity. I want you to understand, again, who you are and what you are capable of. This keeps being laid in my heart. So I feel like we're just in such a pivotal time. So I just have to keep sending prayers of clarity. And I hopefully will also send you, or I will send you, prayers of self-love, prayers of self-care moments, whatever those may look like for you. I want you to romanticize your life and make yourself feel good. I know that this is a crazy time. We talk about it all the time. There's so many things going on, but at the same time, we still have to try to be our best selves and live. So I want you to prioritize something for yourself this week that makes you feel good, because we need those moments, especially in times like this, to help remind us that we deserve good things. And then I also want to send you prayers of boundaries. I hope your boundaries are really strong this week. I hope you are prioritizing the things that make you happy and the things that will continue to help you thrive. So please make sure that you give in to yourself, because you deserve to be loved and appreciated on levels that make sense for you. So now that we've kind of set the foundation with clarity and love, let's start to kind of wind our way into this week's topic. This is definitely a different recording time for me. I'm actually recording at 11:37 on Monday, March 21st. I had to get up. I actually was in the bed, and I had to get up and start recording because this message has been laid on my spirit, and I definitely am very excited about talking to you guys about it. So just wanted to get it done and get it out in my most hopefully transparent way, and I hope it blesses you. But I want to thank you guys also, before we get into that, for your support on last week's episode. I still struggle, I don't know why, with being in the hundreds. It's not really a struggle. It's just, I can't believe every time I say our number, like 103, that I just recorded episode 102 last week, or 101. It's just amazing how this continues to just keep going, and I just feel blessed. So thank you. But boundaries are key was last week's episode, and I definitely, if you haven't gotten a chance to check it out, I'm going to link it in the show notes. But I really feel like it is very important that we really tie into our boundaries. And this month's content has really been about, checking in with ourselves and looking at our intentions and our goals going into second quarter. Because, we are all trying to manifest a lot of different levels. I know for myself, I've had many different intentions and things that I have left behind on my radar this year. I'm just going to say that, on my radar, especially for Q1. I've really taken more of a sandwich approach to my goals and my intentions. So for quarter one, this has been a really focused time for me. And I know that I am not alone, because many of you guys have vision boards and have written your goals, or you have them that you're carrying around on your phone, kind of like me, or writing daily intentions in journals. So we're all believing for a lot of good things, but I definitely found that having boundaries are key as you are on this journey, because you need to make sure that you are checking yourself and also prioritizing how you receive information from other people, building the type of relationships where you can have truth and honesty, because that's going to be so important as you are endeavoring to pursue your goals and dreams. Because we've talked about it numerous times, life is going to life, and people are going to try you. And it's just a natural art of life, and you have to be prepared to be able to handle it without losing your cool all the time. Even though because I talked to you guys last week about me losing my cool. But at the same time, also how you want to be prepared for when you get what you prayed for. Because y'all, like I said, I'm up at 11:30 at night recording out of my sleep. And I wasn't asleep because I just couldn't rest yet. But because I'm sitting here thinking about, what do you do when God and the ancestors in the universe give you exactly what you prayed for? And let me say that again. What do you do when you get exactly what you prayed for? And that's a rhetorical question for you to think about. But I know for myself, I'm up thinking about it, and I'm going to share what I'm thinking about it. But yeah, it's like, what do you do? And I know probably the first instant reaction, I think that most people would be like, oh, you keep going. God gave you what you prayed for. But is that really what we do in situations like that? And the reason that I'm asking that, because you know what? Today, y'all, I got something that I've been praying for. I did 100%. I got it, and I actually got it like a couple days ago, and it didn't, I knew I was going to get it. And I guess that's kind of haughty to say, but I knew it would come through, because it was what I aspired for, what I had been working for. But for some reason, I still was a little surprised, I guess. And so when it came through, I was shocked. And the way it came through, just so randomly, like I knew, at some point I would hear about it. But yeah, it's like I was a little shocked. And then I had to sit on it. I did. I had to sit on it for a minute, because I was just like, I wasn't 100% ready to acknowledge the fact that I had been given something that I had prayed for. And, before I guess I dive into that, let's kind of back it up. Like I said, I think for most people, when they naturally hear that, you got something that you pray for, you just naturally think you're just going to go ahead and go full steam ahead. Like, okay, yes, I got what the Lord prayed for, what I've been praying for, what I've been writing and journaling for. It has finally come to fruition. I'm ready. Let me go jump. But I personally think for a lot of us, myself included, that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes all the time, because our false evidence appearing real, or fear from ourselves, starts to pop up, and we start to then question, is this really for me? Is this really the right time? I mean, really being 100% transparent. Am I worthy of this blessing? I mean, let's just really be honest. I mean, when we a lot of times get the things that we prayed for, that we've hoped for, that we work for, because prayer and hope and intention, all of those things do require work as well, because faith without works is dead. I mean, that's just the truth. We're not always ready to like instantly jump into the blessing. Because like I said, life is lifing, and our thoughts, that false evidence appearing real, that fear within ourselves, the things that we're still working on within us have a tendency to jump up and start to manifest and suppress the things that we've been working and praying for. And so you see, it came up for me. I've known about it for a couple of days. I knew it was coming. I got a heads up, and it's funny. Like I was like, okay. First thing I thought about when I first found out about it, I read it and just checked everything, and it wasn't what I 100% wanted. So I went back and questioned for more. I asked for more of something, and I got it. And so that checked that box. Then all of a sudden, life started lifing, and I like I told you guys last week, I got triggered. I got triggered because I had something come up about my health, and something that I haven't had to deal with in quite a long time. And I'm not giving too much context at this point, because I don't want to do that, because I don't believe in putting things into the atmosphere that are not 100% verified at this point. And I don't want to give energy to fear. But it triggered me, like I was telling you guys about, and that was where it was. It was in my health. And so I instantly started thinking, well, okay, so now how is this going to affect what I've been praying for and coming into pass? How is that going to alter my plan? Am I going to be able to handle this? What if this goes left? And I mean, instantly in my mind, just like you start playing out all these crazy scenarios. And I had to like pull myself back, because, you know, that's one of the things that you have to do when false evidence, appearing real, or fear starts to interact. When you are getting something that you have manifested and prayed for, you have to speak over yourself. So I had to speak over myself and calm myself down. And I'm still working through it. I think I'm in a much better place. And like I will have a follow up and get more information about it, so that way I can 100% cross it off. But I have prayed about it and given it to God. And I feel like I can move through. Haven't totally forgotten about it, but I can move through. So that's one thing left. And then it's like, now, you know, I'm sitting here, like I said, tonight, I finalized, you know, from that perspective, like I know that this is mine. Now it's on me. And I'm literally sitting here thinking about, you know, what do you do when God gives you everything that you prayed for? And so it's like, I'm sitting here evaluating my thoughts, and I'm having to sit here and speak over myself, like I mentioned, to my fears, to be like, you know what, Pam, you deserve this. And, you know, this is my time. And if not now, when? Like I was telling you guys, I've had that attitude and that spirit so easily and confidently. But it's like now all of a sudden, when it's like, okay, this big blessing is coming my way, it's like I'm sitting here putting on the brakes. It's not like life is putting on the brakes, because life is just doing what it normally is going to do. It's life, but it's me. And that was why I wanted to ask you guys and start talking about, what do you do when God gives you everything that you prayed for? Because we talk about it all the time, writing the intentions, like I said. We talk about journaling. We talk about doing the work. What are we doing to prepare ourselves for when the blessing comes in? Because we are healing ourselves of hopefully the things that are holding us back. And we have to make sure that that's right, so that when the blessing does come in, that side of us kicks in versus the fear. Because that's where, to me, like I said, I've been spending this past few hours over here, like talking through my talking through my concerns, talking through my fears. It's not, and my fears really are just 100% based in my own, misconceptions, my own insecurities, because no matter how elevated we all try to be, no matter how much journaling we do, no matter how much peace and self-love and self-care that we manifest, we all have insecurities. Remember, that's one of the things about the Well Done Life. There is no perfect person. We all are still on the journey to life. And I'm being 100% honest. I'm still a work in progress. God is still working on me. So yes, my fears, my insecurities pop up. So I've spent the last few hours in between watching The Gilded Age. Thank goodness. I was able to at least have an hour where I enjoyed good television on a Monday night. And I studied. So it's been a productive night where I didn't allow my fears to overwhelm me. But I have spent some time thinking about, what do you do? And so I wanted to share it with you because I think I'm not alone. I know that there are some of you out here faced with the same situation where God has blessed you, the universe, the ancestors, they have done what you have asked, and they say, here you go. And now it's like, okay, really? Am I ready for it? And the answer is yes. And the reason that is yes is because it's what you pray for. It's what you ask God for. And ultimately, I think that there are a few things that we need to remember when we start to get presented with the things that we have prayed and manifested and worked so hard for. And so I think the first thing that you always have to remember is that when you get what you prayed for, what you worked for, what you manifested, all those things, it's your time. And we've talked many, many times about what it is with God's timing. It didn't come when we thought it was going to come. It didn't come in the way that we thought it was going to come, but that's God's timing. I mean, I always like to say he has a sense of humor, and his time is beyond our comprehension. We just have to know that when it comes, it's our time. So there should be no doubt about that. We know that this is our time. And knowing that when it is our time, the second thing that we should do is instantly pray and speak over ourselves to say, you know what, fear, I know that you want to start popping up in my life, making me doubt that this is not for me. This isn't my season. Like I'm not worthy. All those little things that can come up to help kind of steer us off the path and say, no, you can't steer me away from this blessing. You can't steer me away from this time because it's my time. And God has laid it out for me, because if it wasn't my time, God wouldn't have brought it up over. Because, and that's really what it is. It's so true. Like if it wasn't your time, God, the ancestors, the universe, they wouldn't have brought it for you. It wouldn't have mattered because it's not the appointed season. It's not the appointed time. But when it's your time, it's your season, it all comes together. You notice that even when you start to have challenges, it's like you can move through the challenges, because remember, we've talked about that before. It's like no matter what comes up, because things are still going to come up. Just because it's your season and your time does not mean that you won't have challenges. It just means that when the challenges come up, you will be prepared to face them and to walk through them. And because you're not going to be able to run, you have to walk through them because you're not alone. This is your time. And God, the ancestors, the universe is surrounding you as you are on this journey, because this is a journey to your next level. So we know that this is our season. We deserve this blessing. So we have to talk to the fear and suppress it. And then we also have to understand that we are not alone, and that no matter what challenges come up, that we're ready. And then also, one other thing to remember when you're thinking about, what do you do when God gives you what you prayed for? One very important thing is we have to say thank you. That I will admit, for all of my fears and doubts, even when this first started to be presented to me, thank you was already on my lips, because I knew that I was grateful. I'm still afraid, but I'm thankful. Don't forget to thank God and the universe and the ancestors for their blessing to give you the strength to be able to do this work that has put you in this position. Because again, this is your time. And they are the ones who are pulling you through along with your own desire to achieve. So again, that's part of you being able to pull that time. So we realize that this is our time. We've accepted it. We've decided to speak to our fears. We have given God the glory and thanked him and the ancestors for bringing this time together. And then finally, we have to move through. Yeah, you got to keep moving. Like, you got to make that decision to realize that if not now, when? And I know you've heard that before. I've been saying it for the last couple of episodes. But it really is that simple. If not now, when? If it wasn't for you now, when do you think it was going to be for you? And remember, like I've talked to you guys about before, a lot of times our fears are the things that are delaying us from being able to achieve these next levels. It's not the universe. It's not God. In some instances, it's us, because we're the ones who allow our fears and our insecurities to creep up when we start to get the things that we have been praying for, that we've been working for, and we delay ourselves. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it is the God in the universe trying to save you from, help you dodge a bullet. And in those moments, we should be grateful. But in a lot of instances, it's us. So we have to make sure that we are prepared to move through. Because like I was saying earlier, as we are planning and journaling and doing all those things, hopefully as a part of that, we are doing the work on ourselves to prepare ourselves to receive this next level. Because a lot of times when we are, like I was saying, getting prepared for another level and trying to do new things and grow, we're learning. We're learning new skills, but we're also hopefully learning about ourselves, our triggers, the things that we need to stop doing so that we can move to our next level, the fears that you need to put on the shelf, the trauma that you need to address so that you can move forward. All of those things are a part of that process, and they become mission critical when it gets to the point where God gives you what you have been praying for. Because when that happens, it's like it's right in front of you. What are you going to do? Are you going to allow your fears and your insecurities to hold you back? Or are you going to lean into this appointed time and say, you know what? I got this. This is my moment. This is my season, and I'm ready. So if you're ready, then why not now? And that's where you have to get very clear about making sure that while you were doing all the things that you need to do to help you get the goal, that you are ready mentally and physically to receive it and to walk into it when it's given to you, because it will come. And that is a harder journey, because a lot of times, as we are all on this self-care, self-love, philosophical growth journey of life to our goals, we do a lot of surface work. We really do. And, again, just being transparent, because surface work is, you start to talk about, well, I know I'm insecure about this, or I'm afraid because that I'm not going to measure up. And so you hold yourself back, all those things that negative self-talk that we say to ourselves, we're like, oh, we're not going to do it. But then when something comes up, we instantly slip back into it. And I mean, hey, that's life. We're humans, we're growing and we're evolving. Believe me, I've struggled with negative self-talk at times. And like I have told you guys, I talk to myself sometimes a lot when I need to control it, because it's just so important for me not to slip back into those old habits. But I have decided I have to be super intentional. You have to get that type of intention about yourself, about your negative habits, about the things that hold you back from going to the next level. Because again, it's not always God, the universe, and timing. It's just not the right time. No, it is the right time. It's just we're afraid of doing the work and making the changes that are going to help us be able to get to that next level. So we have to confront ourselves. We got to get real in the streets about who we are, what we're capable of doing, and what we're going to do differently. Because ultimately, that's what all this is about. We are trying to do something differently. We're ready for a new season. So, like I told you guys, I have been presented with what I have prayed for. And so I've literally spent tonight talking myself through my negative self-talk. Like, again, if it wasn't now, when is it going to be? And I've shared that with you guys before and I literally said to myself earlier, like, Pam, okay, this is your time. Because remember, you don't want to be arguing about the same crap at 59. I'm not trying to wait 10 years to get what I deserve. I'm not trying to wait 10 years for my next level. So it's like, if not now, when? And going through the list in my mind of different things that have held me back. And I had to get so honest because I have allowed myself to be being comfortable in mediocrity. Remember, we have talked about that because mediocrity is very easy to get comfortable in because the devil that you face in mediocrity. You know what the situation is. And a lot of us use mediocrity to prevent us from moving to the next level. But we always will say that we're not being mediocre. We're making choices based upon the family, or we're making choices based upon our age, or we're making choices based upon our education, all these limits that we place upon ourselves. But again, what are you going to do when God gives you what you prayed for? Because a lot of those things don't go away. I mean, no offense, like to myself, I still have a family. I'm in the middle of changing a major part of my life, but I still got a family I got to take care of. And I still have health that I need to make sure is taken care of. I mean, there's still things that need to be taken care of, but I know that this is my time. I know that this is what I prayed for. I know that I can do this. And God is with me, and the ancestors are with me, and they're not going to let me fail. So I'm going to move through. Because this is that season where it's like rubber meets the road. It's like, okay, you've done the work. Now here comes the blessing. Are you going to take it? Or are you going to pull back and slow it down? And I don't judge people for slowing it down. I really don't. Because not everybody is at a point in their lives where they're ready to bet on themselves. Because like I said, I have obligations. I have a family. I'm not married and I don't have children, but I do have my mom and my sister. And I am the main breadwinner in my household. And I feel very blessed that collectively we are able to live a good life. But I know that I need to make sure that I sustain. I needed to make sure that I am taken care of mentally and physically because I need to be the strength in my home. And I know, not everybody has my situation with caregiving and all that kind of stuff. But even as women, as spouses or the heads of your home, all of those pressures are on us and they can hold us back from stepping into things that we know that we should and accepting the blessings that are come our way because we get afraid. And the reason I say I don't judge is because I know what that's like. I've been there. I've spent a lot of years like that. And I just want you to know that there's still time. And when the situation is presented to you and it feels right, because you know what it feels right. You do. You know when it feels right. You know when it looks right too. I mean, all the questions that you had, all the doubts, all the worries, all the all the money, all the whatever it entails, all the dots are dotted, all the T's are crossed, there's still room for you to take a chance on you. Because no matter what happens, you're not alone. And I think that that's the key that we have to remember when we are faced with these situations. We are not alone. God is with us. That's what we've been praying for. That's what we've been waiting for. So why would we hold ourselves back? This new level could change the whole game and trajectory for a lot of our lives. And we deserve that. And so we have to make sure that we create space where we can really, really accept that and celebrate the fact that we deserve this moment. We deserve better. You know, my parents have always told me, or what they used to tell me, especially my dad, he was like, you know, I made a lot of choices in my life based on the betterment of my family. And because that was what, as a man, I was supposed to do. And he said, I have no regrets because, you know, he would look at me and my sister and my mom, and he was like, what we have been able to accomplish, I am truly blessed. But then he would say also in the same respect, you know, if I could do things a little bit differently, I would have, in his mind, he wanted to go to school. He wanted to be an attorney, and he never got a chance to do it. He tried for a little bit, but like he stopped going to school because it just wasn't conducive with him trying to work and take care of the family. So he stopped. But I think about that sometimes, and I'm like, I know I don't want to do that. And he always told me, no matter what happens in your life, live your life so that you don't have regrets. Even if you have a family, make sure your family is obviously taken care of, because that's what we do. But make sure that when God presents you with an opportunity to better yourself, to do the things that you prayed for, that you dreamed for, that you believe enough in yourself to go forward, to push and to do it, to trust that if you step out, you will be protected, because that's what God would want you to do. And that's what I want you to do, because that's what I'm challenging myself to do. I promise you, I'm literally, speaking to myself as I am speaking to you. I want us to be prepared and ready to open our hands and accept all the blessings when God gives us exactly what we prayed for. Because we shouldn't be surprised when it comes through. We should be ready. We should be ready, willing, and able to say, you know what? I'm ready to step into my blessing, because this is what I prayed for. This is what I asked for. So that means that we have to do the work along the way. While you're doing all the work to achieve the goal, make sure you are doing the work enough on yourself to be able to accept the blessing on the other side of it. And it's not easy, because like I said, y'all, I've been doing the work, but I still have my fears. I still have my doubts. The universe is, lifing and doing what it needs to do. I still have things that are coming up that I'm afraid. I cannot pretend and act like I'm not, but I feel like I'm at a point where I know what I'm going to do. I do. I know exactly what I'm going to do. It's just, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of changing my life, but it's a part of my life, not my complete life. Let me not be that dramatic, but I'm going to do it because I know ultimately this is the right thing for me to do. And I'm not going to rush into it either. I'm going to sleep on it tonight just to make sure that I am 100% set in my decisions. And I would recommend that for anyone when you are faced with exactly what you prayed for, to sleep on it. Take a nap, go to bed, do what you got to do. Because I feel like when you sleep on it, your mind is open and receptive, so you can dream and you can process. And then if you're still feeling the strength that you need to move through, you go forward. And because I'm one of those kind of people, I don't think you rush into decisions. I think you take time and you're thoughtful about it, because this is something that you are being presented with. So you have to make sure that you take that time to process your emotions and your fears. And that's really what it is. It's processing, because the blessing doesn't go away. It's not like God says, okay, well, you didn't jump to it today, I'm just going to snatch you back. Like, the Lord's not that petty. He wants you to still have that blessing. He just wants to make sure that you are ready to receive it, that you're ready to jump into it. And you got to be ready. You got to trust yourself, and you got to be able to speak to the things that are scaring you enough so that you can go ahead and go forward. I want you to do that. I want you to have that type of feeling over yourself, because we are going to be faced with so many more opportunities of God giving us exactly what we pray for. And I want you to be ready to receive it. I do. I feel like this is a blessing season. And like I said, this message is laid on my heart, but I know that we've been talking so much about, intentions, about blessings, and about manifesting your goals. And I think that this is a great way for us to end this check-in quarter. Or month, of content, because as doing our goals, as we're writing the vision, making it plain, setting everything up, doing all the great things, we have to be prepared to receive the great things. And that's one of the reasons why I love doing it on a smaller level versus waiting all year, because it gives me an opportunity, or gives us an opportunity, to look at things in a bite-sized view. So that way you can process the success for really all the time that it is, and look at even how you accepted the success. Did you try to doubt yourself? Or were you ready to go all in because you knew it's exactly what you've been praying for? Give yourself that space to do that, especially as you're thinking about your goals going into Q2. I mean, just try it out 3 months at a time. Just give yourself that opportunity to write out your goals, write out the things as well. And I think that that's one of the things I will do going into Q2. Write out the things as well that scare you about achieving your goals. And ask yourself, what would you do? What are you going to do when God moves and gives it to you? It gives you exactly what you pray for, because you got to be ready. You got to be ready to receive. And that should be a part of your goal setting journey. I'm definitely, I think, going to make that a part of my Q2 planner, because I don't like being faced with the challenges of not being ready. And that's what I'm learning in this moment, that I feel like I thought I was ready, like to just gung ho. I did. Like when this when I knew this was going to come through, I just was like, ooh, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm ready. And now I'm faced with it. And it's like, okay, I need to think. I need to process. I need to do all these. It's like my mind is racing and going through. And so that's a sign that I still have work to do. I still have things that I need to address within myself so that I don't question the blessing when I receive it. Because that's really what it is. When I'm sitting here allowing all these different thoughts and misconceptions to come up, I'm questioning it. And that's definitely not what I'm trying to do, because I know I deserve it. I know that I'm going to do a great job at it. I know that this is what I'm supposed to get. And so why am I questioning it? And like I said, we've been talking about if not now, when. When we're in that type of spirit, you have to stay on top of your fears and your misconceptions, because those fears and misconceptions can block you from being able to be ready. And, we don't do that here. We're trying to be ready. So I really hope that you will give yourself space to think about it, because I really do want you to be prepared to receive this next level of blessings, because you deserve it. You deserve it. We have been putting in so much work on ourselves and on our goals. I want you to be prepared, so that when God gives you exactly what you prayed for, you can say thank you and move forward with the confidence in yourself, knowing that no matter what will come up, because things will come up, life will life, you will be prepared to 100% move through it, because you know that you are not alone in this journey, and that you are 100% ready to move to this next level, because it's your time. and you deserve it. So give yourself the space to heal and to be ready for when God blesses you. So that's my message this week. I hope that you got something out of that. I know it might have sounded just a little rambly, but, give me a little grace, y'all. It's like 12:13 now on Tuesday, March 22nd. But I'm so glad that I got a chance to share this with you. And I am definitely looking forward to hearing and hopefully seeing in the comments some things that maybe you guys are, believing for and praying for, and that you are preparing yourself to receive the blessings from God when He gives you exactly what you prayed for. So I will definitely link last week's episode in the show notes. I'll also list out the 5 things that we talked about so that you can kind of have a mental checklist as you're going through. Definitely going into April's content, I think it's going to be more so kind of like a little mashup. I have a couple of guests that I am working with to try to finalize. And so I look forward to being able to probably have more information for you guys on next week's episode. I apologize, but it's just been a crazy week with work and life and so many different things. So I didn't get a chance to articulate everything out the way that I thought I would have it. So we'll just kick off April next week and set the intention and do all that great stuff. But I am definitely very excited about the people that I have in mind. I think we're going to have some really cool guests and have some really wonderful conversations. I definitely want to thank you for your continued support, and I pray great things and blessings for you all. I know that you'll be ready soon for when God blesses you and gives you everything that you deserve, because you are so worth it. And I just want you to open your hands and receive all these wonderful blessings. So I'll have all of my social information linked in the show notes. If you guys can give me a review, feedback, let me know. I would be greatly appreciative. I am definitely trying to grow. And I will say one thing about the guests. All of the guests, they probably don't even know yet, but if they're listening, now you know. I will be videoing our calls and launching those on the YouTube, because I think that that's how I want to take that platform. I don't want to just put up random videos just to put up random videos. But I definitely do want to show the guests that I have and have those conversations. So I will make sure that those conversations are recorded on YouTube. So if you'd like to watch and chat along or whatever, that would be great. One day I will get my courage up and we might do a live stream. Never know, y'all. I'm testing out some new things. So again, I want to thank you guys. I'll have the last week's episode linked. I have those top 5 questions that we talked about. I'm definitely sending you prayers and love. I'll be back next week so we can kick off April strong. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll talk soon. Bye.